You know that feeling when you're just talking to someone new and you can't stop thinking about them? You check your phone every 5 minutes, you replay every conversation in your head. Your heart races when you see their name pop up. You feel more alive than you felt in months. But then something strange happens. Once you actually start dating them officially, that fire starts to cool down. The excitement fades and you panic, thinking maybe they're not the one. Maybe the spark is gone. Maybe you made a mistake. But here's the truth. That intensity you felt wasn't love. It was biochemical addiction. It was your brain on a chemical roller coaster. And understanding why the talking stage hijacks your nervous system will save you from chasing the wrong feeling for the rest of your life. Here's what's actually happening. Most people think the talking stage feels more intense because of a special connection or chemistry. Wrong. Your brain releases more pleasure chemicals when chasing something uncertain than when you actually have it. According to Dr. Helen Fisher's research on romantic love, dopamine levels spike during pursuit and drop after attachment is secured. The talking stage weaponizes what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, unpredictable rewards that hijack your brain's reward system. Sometimes they text back fast, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you feel chosen, sometimes you're unsure. This uncertainty doesn't weaken attraction, it supercharges it. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. Your intense feelings aren't about the person, they're about your brain responding to the unknown. Your nervous system doesn't know this is biology, it thinks this is love. Once you understand this, you stop confusing anxiety with love and excitement with compatibility. So let me break down exactly why this happens. I'm going to give you 7 psychological mechanisms, each one explaining why the talking stage feels like a drug and what it means for your real relationships. Number 1. The dopamine trap. Your instinct is to think you feel so alive because this person is special, but that's not what's happening. Your brain is designed to feel most excited while chasing a reward, not after getting it. Here's what's really happening. Your brain releases dopamine, the motivation chemical, when the outcome is uncertain. The talking stage is pure uncertainty. You don't know where you stand, so your brain stays on high alert, constantly scanning for clues and hoping for the win. Dopamine isn't love, it's anticipation. It's the thrill of maybe. Once the relationship becomes official, the uncertainty drops, and so does the dopamine. Your brain shifts from hunting mode to resting mode. This is called the reward prediction error. Research shows that your brain gets more excited about unpredictable rewards than guaranteed ones. The reason slot machines are addictive is the same reason the talking stage feels electric. Unpredictable rewards keep your brain chasing the next hit. The moment things become stable, your brain calms down, not because the connection is weaker, but because the chase is over. So the next time you're checking your phone compulsively, say this to yourself. This anxiety isn't about them. It's my brain chasing uncertainty. I'm not going to feed it. Because here's the truth. If you keep chasing this feeling in every relationship, you'll never build anything real. Intensity isn't depth. Excitement isn't compatibility. The talking stage tests chemistry. Real relationships test character. Number 2. The fantasy projection. Your instinct is to believe you know this person deeply because you've talked for weeks, but you don't know them. You're not falling for a real person. You're falling for a projection. In the talking stage, you only see their best self, curated texts, carefully chosen photos, the personality they want you to see. Your brain fabricates a perfect version using incomplete data, filling in the missing pieces with what you want them to be. Psychologists call this idealization. Your brain can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality, so you feel deeply connected to someone you barely know. According to attachment research, we project our unmet needs onto new people. If you want someone confident, you see them as confident. If you want someone loyal, you assume they're loyal. The talking stage lets fantasy thrive because reality hasn't shown up yet. In a real relationship, you see their flaws, their bad moods, their annoying habits. Fantasy always feels more intense because it has no limits. When a talking stage ends, you're not grieving a person, you're grieving potential. And potential always feels perfect because it was never tested. So when you catch yourself idealizing, ask yourself this: what have they actually done to earn this thought? Am I watching who they are, not who I want them to be? Real love begins where fantasy ends. Number 3. The uncertainty addiction. Your instinct is to think the unpredictability is frustrating, but secretly, it's addictive. Your brain treats uncertainty like a game it needs to win. The talking stage gives you inconsistent validation. Sometimes they're warm, sometimes they're cold, sometimes they respond fast, sometimes they disappear. This pattern is called intermittent reinforcement. This is the same psychology behind gambling addiction. B.F. Skinner's experiments proved that unpredictable rewards create stronger behavioral patterns than consistent ones. You don't know when the next win is coming, so you keep checking, waiting, hoping. A real relationship is consistent, and while consistency feels safer, it's less stimulating to a brain looking for unpredictable wins. Research shows that intermittent rewards create stronger emotional bonds than consistent ones. When someone is predictably good to you, your brain adapts. But when their behavior is unpredictable, your brain stays activated, trying to figure out the pattern. Many people confuse this anxiety with passion. They think nervousness means they care deeply, but it's just your nervous system on edge. When you're anxious about their response, remind yourself, if I feel calmer when they're consistent, that's not boring, that's safety. Peace isn't the absence of love. If you feel calmer in a real relationship, that's not a red flag, that's growth. Your nervous system isn't bored, it's finally safe. Don't mistake peace for the absence of love. Sometimes the deepest connections feel quiet, not chaotic. Number 4. The low-stakes loop. Your instinct is to think you're emotionally invested in the talking stage. But there's a safety net you don't acknowledge. Nothing is really at stake yet. The talking stage offers emotional stimulation without full vulnerability. If it doesn't work out, you can tell yourself, it wasn't serious anyway. You get the thrill of connection without the risk of real commitment. According to Dr. Esther Perel's research, some people unconsciously stay stuck in talking stages because they offer closeness without consequences, intimacy without accountability. You feel excitement without responsibility. Avoidant attachment styles especially thrive here. You get validation without vulnerability, connection without surrender. But real relationships require you to be fully seen, flaws, fears, and all. That's scarier. If you keep avoiding commitment, ask yourself, am I protecting my heart or avoiding being fully seen? The talking stage is emotionally safe because you can leave anytime. Real relationships demand honesty, availability, consistency, and discomfort. One feels intense because it's low risk. The other feels calm because it's high commitment. Number 5. The voluntary effort mirage. Your instinct is to enjoy how much effort you both put in. But there's a psychological trick happening. Optional effort always feels lighter than expected effort. In the talking stage, everything feels like a gift. Every text, every compliment, every plan. In a relationship, effort becomes expected. And psychologically, expectation feels heavier. This is why people say, they changed after we got together. Often, they didn't change. The context did. What was once a choice is now an obligation. Motivation research shows intrinsic motivation feels lighter than extrinsic motivation. The talking stage runs on choice. Relationships require responsibility. When effort feels heavy, remind yourself, choosing to show up isn't a burden, it's a commitment. Mature love isn't butterflies, it's choosing someone when effort is required. If you only want effortless love, you'll keep restarting forever. Number 6. The novelty drug. Your instinct is to believe this person is different. But newness itself is intoxicating. Everything is a first. Your brain releases dopamine in response to novelty, not people. Novelty always fades. That's not failure, that's biology. The beginning of anything feels thrilling. Once your brain learns the pattern, dopamine drops. In real relationships, you trade novelty for depth. Depth feels quieter, but it lasts. When newness fades, remind yourself, I'm not losing something, I'm building something. If you leave when excitement fades, you never reach intimacy.
Number 7. The oxytocin shift. Your instinct when intensity drops is to panic, but your brain has shifted from dopamine to oxytocin. The talking stage runs on thrill. Real relationships run on trust. Oxytocin feels warm, steady, grounded. Oxytocin doesn't feel like fireworks. Oxytocin is released through touch, trust, and time. It's the chemical that makes you feel safe with someone. According to Dr. Ruth Feldman's research, oxytocin levels increase with physical touch and emotional safety over time. It's less explosive than dopamine, but it's what keeps couples together for decades. Research on romantic love shows that long-term couples have lower dopamine and higher oxytocin. This isn't a problem, it's progression. Your nervous system has shifted from excitement to regulation, from stimulation to safety. Many people mistake this shift for falling out of love because they've been taught that love should always feel like a racing heart. But real love often feels like a calm mind. When you feel less crazy about someone, say this: if I feel less anxious, it doesn't mean the spark is gone. It means my body trusts them enough to relax. If you feel less crazy about someone after months together, it doesn't mean the spark is gone. It means your body trusts them enough to relax. Intensity isn't love. Safety is. Peace is. Choosing them daily is.
What separates people who build lasting relationships from those who keep starting over? It's the understanding that love isn't a constant high. The talking stage is the trailer, not the movie. Fire burns bright on uncertainty, but burns steady on commitment. The discomfort you feel when excitement fades isn't the end, it's the beginning. When you understand these 7 mechanisms, you stop chasing intensity and start choosing depth. You stop mistaking anxiety for passion. You stop abandoning good relationships because they feel too calm. Because the deepest connections aren't built on constant stimulation. They're built on showing up when the excitement fades, on choosing someone when effort is required, on staying when fantasy is replaced with reality. That's not boring, that's love. Notice the pattern. Which of these 7 mechanisms explains your last talking stage? The dopamine trap, the fantasy projection, the uncertainty addiction? Be honest with yourself. Understanding which one hooks you is the first step to breaking free from the pattern. Which reason hit hardest for you? And here's the real question. Are you in a talking stage right now that's hijacking your nervous system? Drop your story below, not for sympathy, but for data. This community is intelligence gathering. We learn from each other's patterns. If you want more relationship psychology that protects you from emotional manipulation, the neuroscience of attachment, the biology of attraction, the psychology of why we choose who we choose, subscribe, because understanding your brain is the only way to stop it from sabotaging your love life.